Because flakiness is valuable information. Like I said, the system is telling you something, and we need to listen. Because if you have performance or concurrency issues, you will see that the application will behave differently. And most of the time, we will see slower applications on development or quality environments and faster applications in production because the environment where they are running from are not equal. So usually, and what I've seen in most companies is in QA environments, in development environments, the infrastructure itself, it's shrinked to the minimum because of costs, of course, and the application needs to cope with it. And when we try to do or interact with that application, it will be slower, but it should be slower and the test must cope with it. So even if you are writing automated checks, you need to be aware of it. And you need to understand this. If it's really a performance issue due to the size of the environment, for instance, or do you have a performance issue of your application? And you are just hiding it because you're tagging the flakiness to the tests. And one that happens a lot to me in mobile was memory leaks. And this was really hard to understand. And what are memory leaks? It's usually the application starts consuming a certain amount of memory, and then while the time is going by and the application is just running normally, even without interaction, it starts consuming more memory and more memory and more memory until it just goes out of memory and the application crashes or give strange behaviors. And this usually happens when we didn't have garbage collector, for instance, in our frameworks or tools. I believe most of them have now. But even when we have, like, if you have a grid and you are using it, and in your test you're never closing the web driver, it will accumulate all of those web drivers. And at the end, you will see that your tests are not that performant or stable as they used to be because there are so many web drivers open, instances open, that it will start to have strange behaviors. Another thing, it's incorrect configurations, and I've dealt a lot about it because when we have, for instance, automated deploys where we have multiple environments considering in your process, you need to have different ways to apply configurations because you will use different databases in QA environments, different databases in development environment, and of course in production. And if you don't apply the right configurations to the right environments, you will see that your application will start not behaving like it should. And sometimes it kind of works and you don't know why, and it fails and you don't know why. So configurations are also something that you need to consider. But again, you need to listen to what the system is telling you about. And the hardest thing that happened when flakiness hits me is problems that are hard to replicate. That is the whole base of the flakiness, because if sometimes it passes and sometimes it don't, it's hard to replicate the exact steps, so the exact system that we have in place in order to replicate the failure.